I'm doing fantastic, Joe. How are you doing this evening?
I'm living the dream. We're reflecting on, obviously, this being the anniversary of 9/11, 2001, also the anniversary of 9/11, 2012. We can't forget about Benghazi and the ridiculous lies that were told then. Reflecting on what happened 17 years ago, your thoughts today?
Well, September 11th changed this country. Every one of us remembers where we were when that happened. For me, Heidi and I, we were both living in D.C. We were both serving in the George W. Bush administration.
Yeah.
Heidi was working in the White House that day. And when the first plane hit one of the Twin Towers, the Secret Service came through the White House and told everyone, stay where you are. I was at the time walking out of our apartment. We had an apartment in Northern Virginia right by the Pentagon, and Heidi called home and said, turn on the TV, look what's happening.
Yeah.
Then when the second plane watched, we all watched in horror, realizing that the first plane, a lot of us thought it might have been some horrible accident. Maybe the pilot had a heart attack.
Right.
But when the second plane hit, we knew in an instant that this was an act of war. And for Heidi, the Secret Service began running down the hallways of the White House, saying, get out now, don't walk, run.
Wow.
She ran out. She couldn't get her car. It was an underground parking garage. So she pulled off her high heels and she walked home barefoot across Memorial Bridge. When the next plane hit the Pentagon, as I said, we were just about a mile away from the Pentagon, and you could smell the soot and ash. And it was a moment that it was the worst attack on U.S. soil since Pearl Harbor. And it galvanized the nation. It brought us together. It brought a resolve, and that resolve has resulted in some incredible victories, including toppling the Taliban in Afghanistan, including defeating and killing Osama bin Laden, and including in the last 2 years, utterly routing ISIS and taking virtually every square inch of the territory they had seized, denying them their caliphate. And it's a sobering reminder of the radical Islamic terrorists who seek to kill us, but also the incredible courage and bravery and resolve of Americans, especially the soldiers and sailors and airmen and Marines who risk everything defending this nation and fighting our enemies.
It's Senator Ted Cruz, Republican of the great state of Texas. He's up for re-election in November. Ted, if I would have told you in 2001 that, and it didn't take 17 years, I mean, it probably happened in 10 years, that we would hate the police, some communities would. Yeah. We would hate our neighbors. We would be on social media absolutely hating each other. That people who call themselves democratic socialists would be winning primaries. Would you believe that?
I don't think anyone would have envisioned how bad it is. I don't think anyone would have envisioned the political correctness gone amok.
Yeah.
That you would have avowed socialist as the mainstream in the Democratic Party. I don't think anyone would have imagined, not even 10 years ago, 2 years ago, that we would be actively debating people protesting during the national anthem. The national anthem used to be something that brought us together, that unified us, whatever your politics, whatever your views. In Texas, we stand up, we stand for the national anthem. We put our hand over our heart, or if you're in uniform, you salute.
Yeah.
And that's something that ties us together. And it's this bitter division that I think is really bad for the country. We're seeing it in Texas. The State Board of Education tomorrow is voting on a recommendation from their advisory committee to delete the word heroic from the description of the defenders of the Alamo. That's just crazy.
It's nuts.
I mean, that's a revisionist history that you've got those on the progressive far left that they're embarrassed of being Americans. They're embarrassed of being Texans. It's like this new movie about Neil Armstrong landing on the moon where Hollywood edited out planting the American flag. I mean, this should be bringing us together, and the radical left, I think, is doing a lot of damages by their assaults on who we are as a people.
And interestingly, the actor in that movie said, well, it was a human thing. It wasn't an American thing. Of course, he's Canadian, so he probably doesn't know better. Chuck Yeager called him on the carpet and said, yeah, that's not the Neil Armstrong I knew. Ted, thanks a million. Appreciate you.
Thank you, my friend. God bless.